media creation tool, you go to www.microsoft.com/ actually we're going to say get Windows 10. That's what we're going to look for, and then we will go to the first link that you see. Under this you will see some FAQs that are available. If you go click on them, you will find more info. So let's look for the FAQ, see if it's in here. So Q&A, and the first question I think on this site is how do I get Windows, or how will I get my free upgrade. Here it talks about getting the Windows 10 app as well as the media creation tool. So we're talking about media creation tool. What it is a standalone method for upgrading to Windows 10. So let's go do that, and we're going to click on, it says make sure you have certain things on your computer, like storage, internet connection. I'm going to be downloading the 64-bit, so if you're interested in 32-bit you can download the 32-bit, but I'm going to do the 64-bit version. Now depending on what version you're running on your current computer, that's the version you need to download. You can download either of the versions and make a 64-bit or a 32-bit system, so it does not matter what version you download, but this is the version for you to be able to execute the application. It is highly recommended that you back up all your data on the system before you attempt to upgrade using this method. Right now we are just downloading the tool and creating the USB media or a CD media, so you don't have to worry about data right now, but we'll talk about it when we are in that upgrade process. For now, it's asking if you want to upgrade this PC or you want to create an installation media for another PC. So if you're doing the current PC, you can choose that option, but I would say let's create a installation media for another PC, which means you can actually use it for the same PC as well. The defaults are kind of screwed up here, so I want a Windows Pro upgrade, 10 Pro upgrade, and I want a 64-bit, and I'm going to do I'm going to choose both and see what happens. I think it's going to give me options when I'm upgrading. So you need at least 8 GB of storage to be able to make this USB. So it says at least 6 GB required, as I guessed. It has to be a 8 GB USB stick. Let's click next on that. It says we can't find the USB stick, so let me go get a USB stick. So I'm using a SanDisk Cruiser 8 GB. So I'm going to say refresh this list, and you see it's already identified. Make sure it's the only USB stick and you don't have any other USB sticks or hard drives connected before you do this process. So right now it looks like it's going to download the Windows 10. Make sure you're connected to the internet and you have sufficient storage, and I do. So we'll let that run for a few minutes. Last time I did it as a test, it took me 10 minutes or more, probably about 12-13 minutes to download. That was because of the internet speed. At home I have a faster internet speed, so it may go a little bit faster. I think it downloads in a temporary folder somewhere, so you really can't see it. I believe it's writing to the USB stick, and so however I don't see my USB stick lit up, so I don't know what it's processing. It's probably uncompressing some of the files it downloaded, and then eventually it'll start writing to the USB stick. So don't take your USB stick out, and make sure that you have power connected to your laptop if you're using a laptop. But it should be done, and then we'll also go give it a shot. We'll try to install Windows 10 using this media. Now what I'm not too sure is if you need to have Windows 8 configured before you can install Windows 10 or Windows 7 for that matter. So we'll find that out. I do have a Windows 8 media that came with my laptop, So I have that handy if I want to install Windows 8 and then go from Windows 8 to Windows 10. But we'll find out if we can just go from no operating system to Windows 10 on a Windows 8 laptop. So for example, it was a laptop that came with Windows 8, and for some reason I had put a different operating system. I was actually trying out different operating system. I was trying out the Elementary OS, which is a Linux operating system. So I want to see if I can go from a Linux operating system to a Windows 10, if this media will help me reformat the hard drive and take it from there. So that's what I'm trying to do. However, this will be the same process if you had Windows 8.1 or Windows 7. So make sure you have the latest updates installed on your systems if you want to save all your settings. If you want to do a completely new install, I don't think you need to make sure if you have the latest updates involved. But we're going to test all that today and make sure that we know exactly what's happening when we do Windows 10. So we'll try in different scenarios. On my another computer, I have Windows 10 being upgraded through the Windows 7 platform using the Windows 10 Get app. You can see it's already writing to my USB because it's calling it the ESD USB. So that process is looking good. Its progress is 68%. So I'm going to let it run for the rest of the length and not touch or disturb the USB stick. And once we have the USB creation tool ready, we'll go and install Windows through the USB, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so looks like our USB drive is ready, and there's a what next button that you can click on. I don't know if it does anything. Okay, it basically takes you to the boot from media you created. It's just a FAQ, just a tutorial on how to install. So we're going to close this and say finish. And just to give you an idea, if you open the media, you'll see it has all these files. Now I did a both 64 and 64 and 32-bit operating system install media, so that way you can choose whichever you want to install at a later stage. Now I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to press the F12 key on the laptop. Okay. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay. So we see the options here. I'm going to select and then make sure you choose the USB storage. So you choose the USB storage and then it will give you options. So on the USB stick you have a 64-bit version and a 32-bit. I'm going to show you the 64-bit upgrade. That's the famous Windows logo. Okay, so it's asking me if I want the language to be English. Yes, I do. Time and currency format English, United States. Keyboard input is US. Click next, and then we click on install now. Something to keep in mind,
I would recommend just using the upgrade option instead of doing a full new upgrade, because it's going to ask you for the product key. We are going to click next, or actually skip here.
Okay, so I had to skip the product key, and once I skipped, I was able to go through the installation process. It basically asked me if I wanted to choose uh, a C partition or a D partition. I just basically deleted both partitions and just kept one partition. I didn't create any more, and I just proceeded with the install. And this is the next screen I got. So remember, I skipped it. So I'm guessing once the Windows is installed, it'll ask me to go online and activate, and we'll check out our licensing issue at that point. And nothing special here. It's just going to get files ready for installation. Then it is going to install features, and then it's going to try to find updates online, and then once it's done, it's going to finish up. So I'm going to turn off my camera, but there's nothing special here. Okay, the process is still on, and it just finished doing all those four processes, and it's did a reboot, and I think it's just starting up again. The installation is not complete, so just letting you know. I think these are the final steps for it to complete. So far, so good. Has been really smooth and fast. Unlike the older Windows installations like in XP and Windows 7, I would say this one's been quiet, quick, and very clear on what it's doing. So hopefully we'll have a Windows 10 up and running. Okay, so I get this message, and it says I need to enter a product key, but it also gives me an option here to do this later, so I'm going to do that. And it's asking me to connect to a Wi-Fi. I have the Wi-Fi access. I'm going to type in the Wi-Fi access here. Okay, click next. Okay, use Express settings. Okay, so after that, please wait message, it just reboots. I believe you can take off that USB stick that you had in there. I don't think it has to do anything to do with it anymore. All the files were copied in the first phase, so you can safely take off the USB stick. Okay, so it's asking me for the product key again, but it still shows me a do this later message on the bottom of the screen. I'm going to click on that. Okay, so use Express settings, and hopefully it'll boot up into Windows 10. If not, then we may be having some issues with the process itself. There may be no way of entering the Windows environment without entering a product key, but at least as of now that's how it looks like, and we'll wait and see if this loads into Windows environment. Okay, so this is a new screen. We haven't seen this before, and it's asking me who owns this PC. I'm just gonna say I own it for now. I'm gonna proceed with that. Next. Okay. Okay, it's asking you for Microsoft account. I do have an account with Microsoft, so I'm gonna go fill that out. Okay. It says use a pin to be able to. Okay, we can set a pin. I'm gonna set a pin. See how pin is gonna work. Set a pin. Okay, so set up a pin menu, and so I just need to enter a pin. So give me 1 second. Okay, something happened. As I was trying to install the pin, I lost the screen. Anyways, it came back up. So I'm gonna say okay. Okay, it's introducing me to Cortana, and it says Cortana is your sidekick. Blah blah blah. Okay, one more time, the same screen. Okay, Windows. That seemed to be their popular wallpaper. A lady running in a beach. Um, but so far it looks good, and so it's finally finished loading. I'm gonna see if it has any issues with the activation. Okay, I got some sort of a.point.exe error. That may be a driver issue. Getting another error for mouse pointer, and let's see, they have a new thing called an action center, so I'm going to try and activate that and see if it tells me anything about activation. Actually, I should be able to just type in activate Windows 10. Okay, looks like it opens up in its new internet browser called Edge. So I'm going to close that for now. That's it. So you have installed, and you have installed successfully the Windows 10 operating system. I think the part where you have to do activation is something. Okay, there we go. Let's click on activation, and it says Windows 10 is not activated. To activate Windows, enter a different product key or go to the store. And it says your product key. It says this is my current product key. I believe that's the default product key that comes with the. I'm going to try and enter the product key and see if this is going to work. I'm actually entering the Windows 7 product key, and I'm pretty sure that's not going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot. Okay, it says the product key does not work. Check the product key and try again. And so that's the message I'm getting. Unfortunately, you need to either. So it's always better to upgrade using the upgrade option rather than install using the install method. But again, if you have a product key, you can enter it here and you should be good to go. So that was Windows 10 installation. If you had any questions or comments, please don't forget to put them down under the video, or if you have if you want to subscribe to my channel, please click on subscribe, and I hope to make more videos. Thank you. Bye bye.